Good evening.
Good evening.
Welcome back.
Welcome back, guys. We had a week off last week for our move, so we're in our new place now.
We're in our new place.
This won't be our regular place.
No.
This will be upstairs in our meditation room.
Once we get that set up.
Once we get it set up.
Divine timing.
Yeah, it's the divine timing. So, yes, welcome back. Usual stuff, guys. We don't do general readings. We don't do draw me a card or a message. We want to be more specific to work with your intuition. So the more specific you get and the more you describe it in your words, that'll help us to really get to the root or the core of the problem. So,
hey guys.
Hi guys. Hi Catherine. Hi Leanne. So yeah, if you've got questions, make them detailed questions and specific to put emotion in them, put feelings in them, how they make you feel and stuff like that. And then we can really help guide you back to what the core message, the core issue is. So everything just about nearly all the things that are going on in our life is a message from our soul or our higher self or whatever you want to call it. So, hey, Haley. Hey, Shelley. Hi, guys.
Hey, guys.
So, yeah, remember, guys, we don't do general draw me a card stuff. We want to get real.
We like to dig into the detail.
Get into the nitty gritty, as I say.
Yeah.
So, yeah, things, so we have several basic tools. So, one of them is, if it animates you, it's in you, we call it. So things that we see outside, things that annoy us, things that sort of issues with other people.
Things that piss you off.
They're inside of us, maybe not in the same way. So if you get pissed off with laziness, there's laziness in you somewhere, usually on the inside, not on the outside. And so by saying the details on that, and if you can catch it and see where it is and start to change it, it doesn't annoy you on the outside anymore.
Yeah.
It's like the innerverse versus the universe. So... Okay, so...
All right, Leanne. Hey, Leanne.
Hi, Leanne.
Been waiting to catch you. Well, we're here. You caught us. I wanted your interpretation on a shoulder issue I've had for some time. Right shoulder, now running down to my elbow. Currently going through some major life changes. What about it?
Yes.
Like, is it a pain? Is it a stiffness?
Describe the pain. What
does it feel like?
If it's like sharp, if it's stabbing, if it's debilitating, use your words for it. But generally speaking, right shoulder has got to do with throat chakra. So it's got a lot to do with communication issues, power issues. So giving away our power to other people, not listening. But it's also got to do with shoulder because it's going down your right arm. So this is externally your physical material.
Encroaching is the word that comes through. Physical
material sort of daily actions, habits, rituals, we call them. So things you're doing on a daily basis. And the person it'll usually relate to a male. So there's a reason you're not doing your practices. So physical, external daily practices are things like brushing our teeth, meditation if you do that, exercise. These are material, physical, external things. And there's a blockage.
Okay, it's frozen and feels like a massive knot growing daily.
So, this is your expression, your daily. So what's frozen in your outside world? So you on a daily practice, if you want to do, say, meditation, or you wanted to do certain type of exercise, or just being yourself in many ways. So, and because it's on the masculine side, often the reason behind it is because you see a male in your life, a husband, a father, a boss, or something like that, someone who's close to you, doesn't let you. And it's not necessarily that they don't physically let you, it's your interpretation of that. So it's you're frozen in what you need to do in the physical on a daily basis. So the legs are more to do with our journey, with our direction, and the arms have got to do with what we do every day, our daily practices. So you're frozen, you're not willing, and there'll be a communication issue here. So you're not communicating with yourself what you want to do on a daily basis. So as I said, it feels like something to do with like meditation, yoga, some sort of, even though it's the physical practice of it, even though that's spiritual, it's still a physical practice. And, exercise, even simpler things like the way you dress, how you present yourself in the world, so those things, that's where you're frozen, and then you're not communicating. So the internal
making
communication
your bed comes up.
What's that?
Making your bed.
Yeah, things like that. Making your bed. Just getting up and just stopping for a little bit. Going for a walk. That's a huge one for most people. Just going for a walk on a daily basis, just to clear space.
Yeah, I mean, I started making my bed every day, and it's fuck you, and it's it gave me a real sense of accomplishment first thing in the morning. You know, I actually achieved something, and the more I did it, the better I felt every day. You know, in those sort of outwardly daily practices.
Okay, so hopefully we'll touch on that. But with these ones, especially once it gets to the stage of frozen, we've really got to dig a lot deeper, guys. And so we need to talk with you. So, yeah, by the way, you can come online if you want to talk about this stuff. And we can really dig in by listening to your words and find out what it is that's really interfering with it. So, yeah, it's like, okay.
Michelle, I don't know how much we can help you with this, but
go with it.
I'll go with it because it's jumped out twice. Yeah. I have a relationship of 8 years that's fizzled out. We don't live together, and I think I have feelings for someone else.
Okay. So basically what happens is we grow together or we grow apart. So somewhere along the line in that relationship, you started looking, say, at the internal, the consciousness, at your spiritual development, and he didn't want to. It's a female, yeah. So, and he didn't want to. So you started growing apart, and it doesn't mean you don't love the person anymore. Yeah. You just, you don't have the same. So you don't have the same interest. So especially when you're growing internally, when you're growing consciously, when you're waking up, some people call it awakening. If the other person doesn't want to, or it's not their time to awaken, that can take several years to actually sort of manifest outside in the physical. Mm-hmm. So, now your feelings for someone else is they're at a level where they're working on themselves inside like you are, because I can tell you're working on yourself inside because you wouldn't be listening to us if you weren't. Yeah. It's like, this is not the easy show. This is the deep show. So so it means you're starting to look at yourself and take responsibility for your own actions. So somewhere along the line, he maybe had the choice to, or he started off that way and he stopped it and you kept going. So that means, you grew apart, your paths went in different directions. So the one you've got feelings for now, I can't really help you with that because not without talking to you. So we need to talk to you and find out what the problems are, what the fears are. Yeah. So, we do private sessions, or we can come online and we can talk about it a little bit more to get some details, because I don't know what your problem with that is. Yeah, and
our souls are always guiding us to what they want us to learn next, right? What your soul wants you to learn next, So that's the other aspect of looking at this is, and you could ask yourself, right? Is this my soul guiding me to learn the next part of my journey? Yeah, right. Yeah, so typically, when we're attracted to different people, both personal and friendships and work and whatnot, it's generally, right, more often than not, your soul's guiding you to learn something. Right? Okay.
So that's just an update. Thanks, John, for that. That's an update for Leanne as well. The frozen and the knot. Sometimes our soul, our higher self, whatever you want to call it, has what we call fail-safes. So this knot is about communication. It's the throat chakra. So your head, your heart, and your gut, as we call it, the soul, the divine masculine, divine feminine, there's a communication problem. And the knot is actually, it feels like it's actually your soul stopping you until you start listening to it about what you need to do. So you're not communicating with your soul. And we communicate to our soul through our gut, guys, through our navel chakra, what we call our gut intuition. The soul is everywhere, but we kind of communicate with it and hear it down there in the gut area, below the navel, around about the navel area. So it's like you need to communicate and start asking, go, okay, what do you want me to do, soul? Our soul wants us to have perfect self-expression, to be fearless, to be all of this stuff. So the knot is there because it's like, okay, you can't get forward in your physical stuff because you're not listening, you're not communicating inside, or you're not listening to the communication between yourself and yourself.
Okay, Shelley. Hey, Shelley. I love my ex. We've been seeing each other, but I feel his brother is controlling him. Is there any chance my ex will come back? The kind of see it in you, the controlling part is what jumped out for me.
Okay, so elaborate. Do you want to?
So generally when we see what we were saying earlier, like it's not so much animates us, but I guess it might be animating you. But if we see or perceive that something is happening outside of us, so in this case you're picking up that you feel his brother is controlling him, then what we would ask is, okay, where are you doing that? Like where's that? Where's that happening in you? Yeah. So it's a control. Male, so it could be masculine.
Yeah, so it doesn't have to be the same thing, but something say it could be family, it could be something's controlling you. So if you say, where's that in me, is it the way we say it? So is there something in me that's controlling me, say my family? It might be as simple as your DNA, your heritage line. So it could be something as simple as that. Something controlling you. Our attitudes can control us. Our ego can control us. Something inside you, not necessarily outside like it is with him, another physical person.
Yeah.
And the other part to do it, to really sort of, will he come back, right? So what we do is, there's a saying in the Bible, I am my brother's keeper, right? So what that means is we're supposed to hold the perfect vision for them. When they're in this fear, when they're in this control mode, see him as working through that. It's really picture it inside. See him as fixing it himself, getting over it and choosing for himself and having a breakthrough and just keep visualizing that. Keep visualizing him being in control of himself and choosing for himself and not listening to things outside himself. And if you do that, that's going to give it the most chance. It doesn't necessarily mean it will work, but it'll also stop you from buying into it. So every time you feel like you think of his brothers controlling him, then quickly counter that thought with, okay, see him controlling himself, seeing him listen to his own heart, listening to his own guidance and breaking through and feeling great within himself.
Yeah.
And this applies to all of us. This is what I was doing with this guy for a little while, which I just stopped recently. And, and it can have a massive breakthrough because then you're making the space and you're creating that vibration, that frequency for them. You're seeing the perfect result. And so you see him.
And remember, this is how you're perceiving it. Right. So this is how you're seeing it. Right. So this is what we say, because you're seeing that, that's where we'll say, okay, well, where's that in you? Right. So, you don't know necessarily if that's actually the case. Right. But for whatever reason, that's the feeling that you're getting. Right. That he's being controlled by his brother.
So something external is controlling me, and external things are pretty much society's point of view. That's an external thing, belief systems, religions, it doesn't have to be a person. It's something external controlling me. It's an attitude that I was brought up with.
Spirit's funny. All right. Mattel, have I lost my motivation? Can you please tell me what I can do to move forward? I had Spirit just say to me, well, if you weren't motivated, you wouldn't be here asking me that question.
Yes. So have you lost your motivation? No. But you've got to look where you're trying to use your motivation. It sounds like you're trying to use it outside to, for business, for for moving forward in your life. Maybe it's the reverse. You've got to turn the motivation inwards to change attitudes, to change the way you think, to change the inside. So it feels like the motivation's being turned inwards. That's why you're on our show, basically. and so it's like, okay, go, so work with that one. So, okay, how do I, follow this motivation, change what I need inside, then the outside, the doors or the gates just open up and it just flows. So no, you haven't lost it. No. It's turned inwards, but you're not using it for that, or you're not seeing it that way. So it's like, ask, so is that true? If so, show me how, show me where. So guys, don't believe anything we say, right? And don't believe anyone. Test it out. Try it for yourself. Because if you just believe it, it's just words and it doesn't work. It's like affirmations. If you use affirmations and you don't believe them, they're just empty words. They don't work. You've got to find a way of believing it. And so to believe it, we say things like, what if that's true? Or if that was true, does that apply to me? Change the wording a little bit, and that can get you to what we call genuine.
Yeah.
Okay.
Catherine, I didn't read out your question about if you're going to have a baby, when and who, because this is not the show. I guess we don't really answer those kinds of questions, right?
Yeah.
So it's a polite ignore, I suppose.
Yeah. So go back up to Barbara there.
Oh yeah, Barbara, that's one.
Yeah.
Okay, Barbara, been getting high-pitched buzz squeal in both ears lately, and it's been giving me a bit of vertigo. Is this just from evolving?
Yes, it is from evolving. But what it's trying to do, the noise, the pitches, the squeaks, the squeals we get, and especially because it's in both ears, this is what we call the false Akash, or your false records. So the false records are stopping you from evolving. So it's like, okay, so if this is the false Akash or false records, show me how to delete them. So we have these records of our life up in the infinite, and it's like some of them are false.
Yeah.
And so from the soul level, from past lives, like, so if this is the false Akash, let me let go of the false beliefs, the false records that are inside. So it's actually the evolving kind of causing it, right?
Yeah.
But you can't evolve anymore whilst those false records are there.
Yeah.
So it's like, and just by saying that, genuinely saying that, if that's true, and if this is showing me how to clear the false records, it can also happen really instantly, or it may happen over days or weeks. Okay. Hi, guys, everyone.
Hello, everyone.
All right.
We don't really do, can I have a message, or have you got anything for me, guys?
We do more specific, guys. For the ones that have just come on, we want you to describe what's going on, describe how you feel about it, put your feelings and your emotions into the descriptions, and then we can show you what the message is and possibly how to transmute it and help you to move forward with it.
All right. Andrea, why do I struggle making decisions? How can I be strong in making decisions and the right ones?
So this is a very broad one, and this is obviously going to apply to everyone. First of all, we've got a couple of things here. We've got filters, what we call filters. So why do I struggle making decisions? You're saying that, so you're making that a definite, and all you see is the times you struggle.
Yep.
Think of the times. It's like, why? So say something like, why do I struggle most of the times making decisions? Or why does it seem like? Change the wording a little bit there, and that will dissolve the filter. And remember the times in certain decisions, you don't struggle making a decision having a cup of coffee. You just do it, right? There's decisions you make every day that you don't have. And be strong in making the decisions and the right ones. There's your other problem. There is no right ones.
Yeah.
There's no wrong ones. There's ones that work and make it. There's ones that are say positive or negative, but you can't just do all positive ones. There's your problem. You got successful people. They have 10 things going at once, and they expect 3 of them to fail, and they expect 7 to succeed. So make the wrong decisions, make the right decisions. You're struggling to make the decisions because you're trying to make right ones, and you'll never do it. You can sit there and this is
and they have to be strong.
No, she has to be strong in making decisions. How can I be strong? Right. It's like you are strong, but you're using the strength to not make the decision because you only want to make the right ones. Just make a decision and do it, and understand that if it's wrong, even if it's like, say, a negative, that's going to make me grow, and that's going to make me evolve, and that's going to adjust my questions and adjust my decisions. So I need to make the mistakes as well as make the right decisions. That is called evolution. That is called growth.
And also, to break through our limitations, sometimes spirit will take you from A to B to C to D, right? And so you won't be able to get to A if you don't make a decision knowing that it may or may not work out.
Yeah, so it sounds like Andrea's a rigid ego personality like myself. And we have a problem trying to be perfect. And our type of ego has this thing of perfection and also being appropriate and being right. Just be authentic. Just be authentic. Accept that mistakes are part of your evolution. You can't grow and you can't move forward without making mistakes. When we make mistakes, then we adjust our course as we go. So these just go, stop trying to be perfect. That's the ego in you that's trying to make the right decisions, and that's what kind of stops you from moving forward. I'm speaking from experience here. So this is the one I've been working on. So
Lisa's kind of similar to the last couple of relationship ones we spoke about, but I have an amazing husband who I know loves me a lot. Due to some ongoing private matters, I feel my feelings are changing towards him, and I worry about it because, as I said, he's a good man.
Yeah, this is exactly the same as that last one. This is like we grow together or we grow apart. So when we grow apart, it's usually because, say, we want to grow internally or spiritually, and they might be still growing externally, but they don't want to go into this internal spiritual journey. So it doesn't make it bad. It just means it's different. It's like, I won't go into which relationship it was, but I did the same in one of my relationships. And it's like, and I worked out a lot of my stuff, and that person was a really good person, but they didn't want to do this spiritual path, and that's okay. That's it's not my decision to make it. The person's still good. But you're starting to go, okay, you want to go deep inside. You want to own your shit, as we say. And that doesn't, if you see him internally, like we said with the other person, see him as possibly doing that, or see him as working on his stuff and doing what he needs to do for himself, then that can open the door for that. And if you keep moving forward and doing your bit without, making decisions of whether, you're jumping ahead of the gun here going, It might happen. You might grow apart.
Yeah, exactly.
But it also might be just that you're just moving a bit faster than him, and then he will do it and catch up. You might be setting the example. But, this is the problem with breakups. We think someone's got to be bad or something's got to be wrong. It's just that our journey, we're on paths here. So we either go side by side or, at times we'll go apart. And no one's good or bad. It's like, that's not about good or bad. It just means it's there's a limit to our growth when we go internal if the person around us doesn't want to, because then we kind of put judgments by our internal growth onto them and say that they need to grow because it's hindering our growth. And so it's very similar. It's like, and it's really hard when you're like this. It's like, I understand. It's like when they're not doing anything wrong, it's just that they're not growing inside. They're not doing what you've got to do. And that's kind of now starting to put a hindrance on you. But just see them go, what if he suddenly wakes up and he wants to do this internal growth as well? And that can change it and really bring it back together. Just see him as really breaking through and see yourself as both, yourself as a good person, even if you have to move away.
Yeah.
Okay,
Debbie, how can I break the cords of pain? My husband passed away, I assume. How can I break the cords of pain? My husband's passed. And I felt that was a message that he was sending to me. Is meditation the best way?
Generally, but there is a better way. Like I did this with my father when he was dying, writing it down. So first of all, break the cords of pain. You got to look at both sides. You've got to go, okay, I write a letter to them like they're sitting there in the seat opposite me, and I tell them all the things that I was pissed off about. So I fucking hated the way you did this, Dad, this, and your husband's different, but it's like, but I understand now as an adult, so you write both sides. You write, your annoyances, your grievances, so to speak, and you write your understanding and your compassion. And then you can burn that letter and let it go and let the message, but really feel him sitting there opposite you as you do it. Because yes, you're right. The message is he's telling you to let go because he's happy now. He's free. He doesn't have any of the shit that he had in this life. That's not relevant anymore to him. He's in the spirit energy, and he's like, okay, yeah, don't worry about all that crap I went through in that life. It's like, just focus on what you got out of it. But you need to let go of the grievances, and you can't let go of them until you acknowledge them. So. And also let go of you said the cords. There's cords that we connect like through the chakras. So cutting the cords, this gets really sort of mind-boggling, but you can talk to our past ones over there, but they could be reincarnated already. Some of them are only over there for a few months before they reincarnate. And often they come back as one of your family members. It can really freak you out, right? And so it's like, and it really gets, complicated because I'll talk to them over there, but I know they're reincarnated. I know they're here. So once we get up to a certain level, time doesn't exist. So it gets really kind of confusing for the mind. So what was that Matrix one?
Kristen. Kristen.
Oh.
If the Matrix exploded tomorrow, what one piece of advice would you choose to give?
Well, the Matrix won't explode, but your Matrix might. So the one piece of advice I give is not to expect it to explode for everyone. Each of us unplugs from the Matrix at different times, and even if it does unplug on a collective basis, that'll be a slow process. It won't be sudden like that. There is no explosion. So the advice I give is stop expecting that. And also the advice that I give is when you do unplug from the Matrix, go real slow, because you've got to learn everything again, So awakening is not a thing that happens. You don't suddenly wake up. And this is obviously this is for you. They were talking to me about this before we started. So awakening never finishes. Awakening starts because we've been asleep and we've forgot. But awakening is just remembering. We don't have to learn anything. We have to unlearn. We have to remember who we are. Our true God self, our whatever infinite intelligent self is always there, and it's unchanging. What the awakening, like we take this pill of forgetfulness when we come into this body, and then we've got to wake up, and then we start waking up. And it's like waking up in the morning. You don't just wake up sometimes you wake up and bounce out of bed, but it's like one of those mornings when you wake up and you've got to have a shower and a coffee, and it's kind of like that. So, and it goes over lifetime. So awakening is a continual process. It doesn't ever stop from the perspective that we're talking about here.
Okay, one of my favorites. Vanessa, I have to move home. I'm not sure if it's best to move back to my previous area. Should I go back or stay in this area I'm in? What about a third choice?
Yes.
Some of us have this uncanny ability to go absolutes and either or. And so by sticking to an absolute, you're kind of stuck in between one or the other. What if there's a third option or a fourth option or a fifth option? Right?
So when you ask, does it feel light? Does it feel heavy? That's how we tell. So if it feels light, does going back to your old area, does that feel light? Yes and no. One of the things you've got to take out of that statement is back.
Yeah.
You've got to go forward to the same suburb or whatever you were before. So if we go back is never right. Because going back is kind of going back to the old habits and that. Can I move forward to the same suburb I used to live in is kind of a different statement. And it's like, which one feels lighter? So you say, okay, go back or stay or something else. And then you feel each one of them. So go back, go to the previous suburb. Does that feel lighter? And stay here. Does that feel lighter? Or something else? Okay, so the previous suburb feels lighter than staying where you are.
Yeah.
But the something else feels lighter again. So if you're only going to get stuck on those two options, go to your previous suburb, previous area.
Yeah.
But if you can go, there's another option, another place to go that is actually better than both those options.
Yeah.
But out of the two, if you only want to get stuck on them, which I wouldn't advise, choose the previous one. That feels lighter than where you are now. But there is a third option, and you go, okay, so where is that? What's that?
Yeah, show me that. Don't think about it, right?
And just wait for a sign to pop up. You might be following a bus, and I'll go, Newcastle,
whatever.
Blah, blah, blah. So.
Okay. Amanda, I've been getting a high-pitched whistling sound in my right ear. I was sensitive to spirit in my young years. Do you feel this could be them trying to tune in?
Generally, if it's right ear, guys, it is our
guides, angels.
Guides or angels. So
it's right. That's why I emphasize right.
Yeah, so usually our guides, our angels come in through the right, when the message is coming down through the right side. The negative ones, our devil, usually comes in through the left. So if it's just right, it is generally that. But again, because it's a high pitch and stuff, some of it could be telling you to let go of the old, what you think was your path, the false Akash. So it's a bit of both. It's the guidance, but it's also a guidance to let go of what you thought your path will be or what you thought you've done as well. So, but yes, it's definitely the guidance trying to get in it. And usually if you pay attention to when it happens, it's usually telling you, listen to what's being said now. It could be a conversation that'll give you a message. It could be a TV show. It could be anything, but it's usually pay attention in that moment because that's where you can really pick up the message.
Okay, Julie, going through transformation and development spiritually, struggling with some of the emerging gifts. How can I fully surrender?
Again, that's the problem. There's fully, you can't fully surrender. It's like the awakening. It's a continual surrender. So how can I surrender more and more? More and more. These fully words, these absolute words are our ego words. Any words that's absolute is the ego. So you're getting the true message and then the ego grabs onto it and tries to push it and force it. So just read it again, please, John.
So I'm going through transformation and development spiritually, struggling with some of the emerging gifts. How can I fully surrender?
Yeah, so struggling with some of the emerging gifts is a natural part of it as well, because we get these realizations and we start to realize that I'm the problem and I'm the solution to everything. And so struggling with them is trying to digest the fact that we caused some of this in the past, right? But it's like, but you didn't know any better, so. It's like, that's where the ego or what we call the whispers will jump in and try and make it bad that, you should have done this before. It's like, no, the awakening, the surrendering more and more. I'm surrendering more and more every day. I'm accepting these messages and these gifts more and more every day. Use this more and more word, and that will will happen. It's like, I don't need to get it all right now. It's like it needs to awaken. It needs to, like a seed needs to sprout and develop into the plant. It doesn't just go from seed to fully grown plant.
Okay, Nicole, if your partner is not opening up and communicating, does it mean it's an issue with my own communication and opening up?
That depends. It could be a little situation that we were going through just before the live.
Yeah.
You could be pushing him to open up and communicate, which is your ego trying to get it. Again, you're trying to get him to what you're trying to get him to communicate is probably a good thing, a positive thing.
Yeah.
But then your ego is pushing it, and he's resisting the pushing. So it's not the resistance and the not opening up is your bad delivery and the way you're delivering it. So if you pull back and say, maybe if I just visualize the message, if I just see him getting the message, and we get it psychically, we get it through feelings, we get it through emotions. We don't have to say most of this stuff, guys. We can just picture him getting the message and stop and say, okay, is that my bad delivery? Is that my, it's like the message is not bad, but what's bad is you're pushing it, and he's going that we all get naturally resistant when somebody pushes something on us. And that's because our ego grabs onto the message and tries to fucking ram it home. And so his resistance is not to the message, it's to the delivery.
Yeah.
It's to the way you're saying it. It's to the way that it's being delivered. So, if you can try and look at, okay, how do I change my delivery? How do I soften my delivery? Or how do I do it?
The compassion.
Yeah, so how do I do it? What if I changed it and just said it silently and said it and waited and had a bit of patience? What if my delivery is causing him not to do that?
Yeah.
And it's these what if words. These are very important, guys, because this makes it real and makes it genuine. You can't just go to, oh, it's my delivery, because you don't know that. Even if we've said it and we know it, it still doesn't mean nothing to you. What if it is my delivery? Maybe it could be my delivery. Maybe I can change that. So change these words, guys, inside, and they have amazing, amazing results.
Okay, Catherine. She's like, okay, I'll ask. Good for you, Catherine. I'm struggling to stay on my spiritual path. I've had insane shifts after Reiki to the point I've become attuned myself. I find my whole outlook, intuition, and everything is so connected. Then it goes, especially now. Could you intuitively tell me what's going on?
Again, this is the opening. The awakening is a process.
An unfolding.
It's an unfolding. It's an evolution. It's like, and because you've had insane shifts, right? Therefore, it's got to stop.
Yeah.
Because you've gone too far. You've opened, say, these chakras too much.
Yeah.
And the bottom chakras haven't opened enough. So then you've got to go back to doing the physical material and bringing your physical life and open your lower chakras at an even amount. Otherwise, we get too top heavy and we tip over. This was my classic problem. So I turned what could have been a 10-year awakening into a 20-year awakening by doing exactly what you're doing there. And I kept pushing it from these amazing things, and then it wasn't working. So when it stops, it's time to work on the basics. It's time to work on your physical, the material, the lower three chakras, so to speak. And so it's like, if you can see it like that and go, oh, okay, is this just a balance? Do I need to now incorporate this into my physical life, incorporate it, and let me digest it in a way, and let me see how it works in the physical, in the real world. And so, but you have those feelings, and that space you get into is fucking amazing, right? And you just want it so badly, right? And it's like, okay, what do I need to work on in the now, in the physical, in the lower areas, so I can have that more frequently? And the ego then jumps in and grabs on those amazing experiences when you're egoless. There's no ego in that moment. And then as soon as they die off, the ego jumps back in, and then it goes, oh, I want to be enlightened. I want to be enlightened. It's like, hey, you're the one I'm going to be enlightened from. What are you talking about? So it's like, it is a real natural process. And the bigger the experience, the bigger the pendulum's going to come back, and the more you have to work on the basics. And if you can see that, ask that, and accept that, the faster those experiences will start to happen, and those are opening. But you've got to open equally on all levels. It's your soul stopping you from doing it. It's the simple way of saying it. It's a fail-safe.
Simone. She's like, okay, so I followed a sign literally and moved to the USA and married. The worst mistake of my life. So the signs are bad also.
Yeah, this is like not necessarily. You
don't know, right? So, good luck, bad luck. You don't know the whole story.
This is contrast, right? And the amount of times my guides have lied to me and lied to others, right? It's like it sounds like a lie, right? So it's like
like a lie.
Signs are bad. It's like, but it's kind of like your guides or messages. They give up. You follow your fear too much. It's like, all right, fail fucking completely, so we can get over this, right? And so they kind of, it's the same as our heart does. When we listen to our heart, it pushes us straight into our fears and goes, okay, if you're fearful of that, go and do it and get rid of the fucking fear.
Yeah.
For Christ's sake. It's like, so some of the worst situations really drive us. And they, it's what Abraham Hicks calls the contrast, that drives us more to want to do this. And it also drives you to let go of this, the worst mistake of your life, good luck, bad luck, you don't know the whole story, You could tell me it was the worst mistake of your life if you're dead now, and we're going through life review.
Yeah.
But until you die, you don't know what this could turn into.
That move could have been the best thing that happened in your life. In 5 years' time, when you reflect back and you're like, holy shit, that's the best thing I ever did.
Yeah, it's like my motorbike accident seemed like the worst thing ever. I nearly died. I lost, smashed myself. I couldn't walk properly for years. But that opened all this up. If I didn't do that, I probably wouldn't have got on this path.
So maybe use the word maybe.
Yeah, so
maybe it was bad.
Sometimes the signs are deceiving is probably a better word. Sometimes the signs say, go here, this will happen. It's like you go there and it's like, that didn't happen, but they had to get you there from point A to point B.
Point A to point B.
To get you to point C. It's like, they did it with us when we came down here to Melbourne. We were expecting our business, we got a date, we got 6 months, and it's like we're a year into it now. And, and we're like, fuck, you gave me the wrong information. It's like, yeah, but if we didn't tell you 6 months, you wouldn't have fucking left, right? And so it's like, you know how stubborn you are. And it's like, okay, if we told you 2 years, you probably would have sat there procrastinating.
In absolutes.
So, yeah, Mickey, we don't just do any comments in general. That's not on this thing. We do readings and stuff, but this is more intuitive guidance. So for health issues or life issues, we want to see the reflection and see how we change these things inside. And, this is building the belief. So all of this stuff, this symbolic stuff left and right, if it's male and female, it's all there to build a belief, but it's not necessary, guys. You can go straight to the heart and straight to the surrender point, and you don't have to do any of all of this.
Yeah.
But most of us won't because we haven't got the belief. So we need to see these little things and how they change things, and that builds the belief. But when you get to a certain point, it's just there's faith or there's fear. There's love or fear. And we follow one or the other. Mostly we switch back and forward each time.
Yeah, and as we say, like the more you get into your heart, the more your heart's going to throw your biggest fears at you.
Yeah.
And so similar to what we were saying to the other lady before, like you can jump a level, but then you've got to kind of catch up in other areas, right? There's other areas in you that you've just like excelled past, but then you've got to balance again. Yeah. Right, and that can be that constant ebb and flow, right? But the key is to be okay in those times where you don't think you're okay.
Yeah,
if you can master being okay when you're not okay, then you'll actually start to enjoy those periods more because you'll see the growth that comes out of that. As you go down, you can go, okay, cool. There's another big shift coming.
Yeah,
right?
And the big shift is the problem, right? Because the big shift. So the heart chakra, we have a big shift there. That's the healing one you said with Reiki, right? That's a massive one, and then you can't compare everything to that. So as we're going down, my son and I are working on a lower. We're having little shifts there, which we're not even calling shifts because we're comparing them to that big shift. But overall, they're bigger because they're going to transform everything. But they don't feel big. They don't even feel like shifts half the time because they're just little increments. But they're more important on a whole basis, on a holistic level, than the big shifts. But we get so excited and we want those big shifts, and it's kind of like we want everything now. We want to push the button and the light comes on. It's like a lot of this stuff is about process. It's about evolving. It's about opening up, and that's a continual thing. That's not an instantaneous thing. There's instantaneous moments, and then there's growth times. So
yeah, right, Debbie. Hey, Debbie, this is a really interesting one, Debbie, because I've kind of had a similar thing. Around 5 out of 7 nights, I get into bed, close my eyes, and I see faces, mostly of males. It doesn't freak me out. The faces are clear, but I don't recognize any, maybe 2 or 4 at a time. I remember a couple of years ago when I would do meditations, I would see female faces, and I mean like lots and lots of female faces. And I kind of put that down to more past life stuff than anything else.
Yeah, so there's often 2 main ones that show up with the faces like that. So one is the past life. The other one is our guides or the masters. So there's usually a mixture of both. So our past lives will kind of flash up there, and those faces are, people you've been in other lives, or so I'm getting it's a bit of both. So sometimes it's the masters or your angels.
Yeah, your angels or guides,
and then other times it's the past lives. And so when it's happening, just go, so is this a past life, or is this one of my guides or angels, or and is it there for a message? And it's like, And just if it's freaking you out, go into the heart and say, show me in the heart. If it's like, as the freak out, and the freak out's usually from the soul, it's usually from the lower self starting to freak out because it's sort of opening up spiritually and that. So breathe into the belly and go, okay, show me, let me see that in my heart. It's just kind of, and you don't necessarily see it in the same way, but it's kind of like there's a feeling in your heart when you see it. And so therefore, if it's true and it's positive, you say, let me see it in my heart, and there'll be some sensation in the heart if it matches.
Simone. See? Told ya. Laughing my ass off. It was motorcycles that took me over there to America. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. See? It's the best fucking thing that ever happened to you. I can feel that. Yeah. That's mad.
That's what I mean. So sometimes we've got to, we get guided what seems like way off track, but it was to see something else and to start something else.
Yeah.
It's like, if we didn't do that, and if you weren't pissed off at the relationship, you wouldn't have had enough time to focus on motorbikes because that was the only thing that kept you happy.
And then the filter of that, right? How many people have you told it was the worst decision of my life? It was the most bad thing I ever did, right? When you can undo that and go, well, maybe it wasn't. Bang! Oh, fuck me. Yeah. Motorcycles were the best thing that I got over there.
Yeah. So Andrea is saying we feel very familiar to her. This is real common, guys. So firstly on a spiritual level, first of all, there's a past life aspect to that for some people.
Yeah.
There's this, past life remembrance.
Been here before.
And it's like you've had dealings with us in the past life. But often it's actually because on our higher self level, on our spirit level, everything's happening backwards. We, at least 2 years in advance, we're doing all this stuff in our sleep. And then it comes in the physical. So it's like all this stuff, this talking now, we've done this ages ago. And it's like we're just sort of catching up, right? And so it's like, that's the familiarity. There's the inner knowing, the spirit self already knows this because it's already been here in this moment. And so that can often be a big part of the familiarity.
Oh my God, it's pushing me right now. Love you.
Okay.
It's about trusting the divine process. Yeah, go get you. I'd fully get you, Lynette. Okay. Lisa, I feel like I'm taking 2 steps forward and then 3 steps back with healing a bulged disc, pinching sciatica nerve on the left side.
Okay. Yeah, my favorite. So 2 steps forward and 3 steps back is you're dealing with it. First of all, the bulged disc, the sciatica, that's the L5S1. So that's like really base stuff. So it's in between the base and the navel chakra. And it's like not listening to your feelings and not listening to your soul enough. And the 2 steps forward, 3 steps back is if you keep dealing with it on an energy level, so you're on here, so you're dealing with it on an energy level, and then you go back to the physical level and say, I need, massage, or I need, compression, or, I can't remember all the shit that I used to do. Every time you go, the 3 steps back is you go on from energy, which is there's an emotional, there's attitude, there's a message to deal with. And then when you go back to it's just physical, I'm not saying you don't need massage and things like that, but when it's that flipping back and forth makes you take 3 steps back. So you make this progress with the message that it's trying to give you, with listening to the soul, listening to the intuition, listening to what it's trying to tell you. And the sciatic nerve, because it's going down the left side, that's the female. You're really not listening to it about your spiritual path. So it's, and that's where it's pinching and going down the left. You're not moving forward on your spiritual path. And you are trying to move forward, but then you go back to, it's just physical. It's, and I need to get back in rods and screws and whatever else, right? Yeah. So stop going back to the physical and go long enough through there's a lot of messages in it. There's a shitload of messages, and you have to go through some of them bit by bit, and they take a while to digest. So just keep working on this attitude side, on that side. Do the basics, but don't call it physical.
Yeah.
And so that's, and it's about your spiritual path. So maybe, you just got to get rid of the people or the ideas that are stopping you moving forward on your spiritual and stopping you moving forward for yourself.
Alrighty, cool. Joe, I keep seeing shadows flying past me and my name being called out. I don't know if it's someone trying to get a message to me or something.
So again, often the shadows flying past you, this is the negative, what we call the negative, the lies, the false stuff releasing. It's like the false stuff tries to get in. And so when you're in this space, if you come in and you're coming and connecting with our hearts, right? So that's going to push it out and that's going to scare the shit out of them. They're going to run away from us because they try and attack us all the time. Then calling your name, it depends. If it's loud, it's often the ego or what we call the whispers. If it's soft, then it's actually your guides or your real self. But what you do is, okay, call it in my heart. Can you say that again in here? And if there's no feeling in there, then it's actually the false side. It's actually the, you know, you want to call it your devil and your angel. You can call it that, whatever you want to call it. The left side, it's usually where the messages come in from the negative, and the right side is where they come in from the positive. So it's like, call it again in here. And if you get some sensation in the heart, then you just go, thank you for the message. I'll grow with that, and I'll understand that more and more as I go. I'll try and work out what it is. Don't necessarily try and work it all out at once, but those shadows flying past, that's the shit running away. It's scared. When you get in your heart, when you get in your real self, your powerful self, that shit just fucking scatters. Right? It's like turning the light on, the cockroaches run away in the house. So when your light comes on inside, those shadows will fucking shoot off everywhere. And so just go, yep, that's the crap leaving. That's the lies leaving.
Okay. Linda. Hey, guys. Hey, Linda. I've been seeing my aura a lot lately. Quite strong color flashes when turning or walking along. Do we know why?
Generally, again, this is just because you're turning inwards.
Yeah.
It's just more building the belief, building the focus. So you focus, and these are what we call evidence starts to show up to keep you going on your path, you know. And if you are going deeply and you are seeing this more, sometimes it's because the colors are changing. So as we awaken more and more, we get like attainments, like freaking badges or whatever.
I'm gonna sneeze.
And so, don't worry, I got other good points. And so yeah, it's more to stay focused. So, you know, if you get up and every morning and you look at that, that's going to make you focus internally. So ultimately, we want to have one eye inwards and one eye outwards. That's what the Buddha picture is, with half one eye closed. One eye is always focusing on the inner world, and one eye focusing on the outer world, and that is just there to keep you going and keep you inspired and keep you motivated. So it's like the more you do that, and the more opens your mind. Don't try and work it out. The positive is not working it out.
I'll be back.
So the positive is to like just go, oh, okay, open your mind more to make you expand and don't. A lot of the time, it's not good to work out these messages. It's good to go, oh well, there's more messages coming. There's more. Okay, all right. So,
fucking spirit,
Beverly. The last 2 weeks, I have pain behind the left knee, like a bruise. Come.
From the top of the calf.
From the top of the calf.
Is it a clot?
That's
dramatic.
No, it's not a clot. Feels like a clot, and I get them often too. It's the pressure. It's trying to release the past, and the left knee has got to do with the solar plexus. So this is your relationship with you, and it's like it's trying to let go of the path. And because it's coming from the calf up, we want to pull the energy up, guys, from the feet. If you pull the God energy of the earth up from the feet, that's always positive. There's no negative that comes with that. So it's the energy trying to come up and clear out all the old stuff and all the lies. And if you go to, is it a clot, that fear is going to make it go, you know, get worse on and off. So it's like it's releasing past blockages, and it's about being flexible in your relationship to you. So stop the judgments that you have of yourself, stop the over perfection you have of yourself. So when it comes up, is this, you know, just ask the question, is this the past in the relationship to me trying to let go? Is the energy of God energy of the earth trying to come up and cleanse through me? And if you ask those questions and you ask them general, you can just watch it, and it'll often clear very fast. Okay.
Ash, I love you, Ash. Are your sinuses playing up again, John? You're not even at work. I know, and I've been working on this with him all afternoon. I've been working all day. Anyway.
So when we sneeze, guys, this is why he's telling me to fuck off. When we sneeze, it's usually we feel cheated because we'll see somebody else's good points, and then we feel cheated because we don't think we compare automatically in that. So we'll see something good, and then we kind of judge ourselves as bad, and you know, or we see we're not as good. And if you catch it, it's a fun game to play. It's fucking annoying too.
Yes, I did, Lisa.
It's like,
yes, I did. So I didn't sneeze on live.
Yeah. So it's like if you catch it in the moment, you go. What we say is, okay, I've got other good points. You don't need to see what it is because it's really fast and fleeting.
I don't remember what it was.
But it's like, yeah, you do because we practice this. So I'm just saying for other people.
Yeah.
So the sneeze comes up. It's like if you see something good in someone else or whatever. And then somehow inside, in the subconscious, we just compare ourselves to that and judge ourselves negatively because we haven't got that. And so what we say is, as we feel the sneeze come up, go, doesn't matter, I've got other good points. I don't need to have those good points, right? And it's like, and you do it and you catch it. And it's a really fun game. And it's like, it can get really annoying as well. So that's or we don't bring it up often because it can get a bit obsessive in that. And if you can't see it, it can catch the first few. It's fun, but after that, it gets annoying. So
wow,
okay,
that's a super post, Ash.
Oh no.
All right, here we go. I was at my aunt's on the weekend in Newey, good old Newey. She had a nap but had a dream visit. Her dad knocked on the bedroom door and opened it and said to her, "Oh, are you having a sleep?" She replied, "Yeah," being frustrated because she was trying to have a sleep, naturally. Then he walked her mother in and said 3 things to her: family disgrace, you're having dinner tonight, and something else, but I can't remember. She was really short of breath, yellow around the eyes. She could clearly see that her dad was alive, which he still is, but her mother wasn't. Oh, hang on, lost it. Where are we? But her mother wasn't. Her mother, which was also true, she has passed. And they showed this clearly, even though she was talking to my aunt. She said it was so real, but oh man, you guys keep posting, it keeps flicking off. Okay, my intuition says she wasn't.
It says it wasn't.
She stopped posting. She wasn't. She was wanting to believe it, but was eventually later told to trust her gut and asked if she thought it was an energy pretending to be her. Oh, okay, I see.
Yeah.
She eventually said it didn't seem like her, but it was also saying it was all night before that. I guess you're wondering if that was her father or not.
Yeah. So
ultimately
the yellow around the eyes is significant here. So and the family disgrace part. So this is your mum needs to let go of whatever she thinks the family disgrace is, because this is affecting the yellow around the eyes is a liver issue. That's how it shows up in Chinese medicine. So there's a lot of anger there and about family disgrace. So she needs to work out how to forgive the family disgrace. And it probably is the negative. It's probably what we call the whispers.
Yeah.
They're coming in trying to exacerbate that. That's why she came out feeling more angry and more disgusted about it. So she does need to look at the family disgrace thing. There is a positive message that she can turn that around and to let go of the anger and that because of the family disgrace. And that'll sort of let go of that, the liver issues and that. So, but yes, you're right, and she's right. It wasn't them, but the message was partially true, she can use that to really say, okay, she's got to look at this family disgrace and find out how to get to forgiveness with it, whatever she classes the family disgrace as.
Wow, he's a cracker. Hey, Simone. So, can't meditate, have tried so many different things, but just can't do it. And I need to, I know, for my own mental health. Any help?
Yep, come on Thursday night.
Come on Thursday night. we do an online meditation on Thursday night. Yep. I'm going to post. This is why I copied it.
It's in there now. It's a link in
there.
There's
our link to our Facebook page.
Yep. So come on our Facebook page. Join the Thursday night. Nobody can meditate at first because you don't know the techniques. And meditation is a slow process. It's like learning how to, do gymnastics or something, right? And so when you get on live and you see and we talk and you see other people can have some of the same struggles, and it's just a process. It's 6 months. I went 3 nights a week before I even stopped falling asleep in meditation, right? And it's like for 2 years before that, I tried all the books and that. But a group meditation works so much more, and it's just consistency. And so you can listen to our previous meditations. These are all really designed for the beginners as well. So constantly reminding you to breathe deep, constantly remind you to focus. That's the main part, is the breathing and the focus. The meditation part, the visualizations, it's all kind of irrelevant. The main part is the breathing and the focus, and that's the concentration. Concentration. Then meditation happens by itself. It's just a space that happens. So it's like, you're right, but nobody can meditate. It's like, I can't, what did she say? I can't meditate?
Yeah, I can't meditate. I've tried so many things, but I can't do it.
And stop saying you can't.
Yeah.
So it seems like I can't. Feels like I can't, but maybe I can.
Maybe I can.
What if I can? What if I've just been doing it the wrong way? What if I've just been doing it? What if I need to just do it more consistently and need the guided meditations?
What if you're meditating perfectly right now, but you think you're not? Because you're telling yourself you can't.
And there's many forms of meditation.
Possible.
Active meditation. The aim of meditation is to actually, eventually, your life is the meditation.
Yeah. So
we want to have what I call open eye active meditation. Meditation slows the brain speed down. So there's 4 basic brain speeds. And it's like, so it's alpha is when you're going to sleep. if you get in that space, so when you're washing up, or if you're an artist or you're painting or you're playing music, that is very meditative.
Yeah.
And so that's the concept, is to slow the mind down.
Yeah.
So it's like you probably go to a yoga class where they tell you, stop your mind. Like, fuck off, cunt.
Stop thinking. Stop thinking.
You know, empty your mind. That's like, that just turns the volume up, right? It's insane.
I used to tell people, they'd be like, I can't meditate. How do I meditate? And I'd be like, can you breathe? Yeah. They're like, yeah. I'm like, well, you can meditate.
Can you go to sleep? You can meditate. You know, in class, you know, we do it as kids in school, and they call it daydreaming, right? That's meditation. We got in trouble for it as kids, you know. So yeah, it's like and again, these are all processes, guys. This is not a marathon. This is not a sprint. It's a marathon. You know, you gotta get in this game for the long run. There's times where you have amazing awareness as an opening, and then there's times when it's sort of a bit, you know, drudgery, you know. So but you know, the benefits overall are amazing. So
Kylie's asking, how do you stop the negatives coming into your dreams?
You can't, sorry. What you can do is focus on more and more of the positives. So you can't stop them from coming into your dreams, but what you got to do is try and stop them through the day.
Yeah.
The more you stop them through the day, then they won't come into your dreams. And it's like, so, and a lot of these practices, a lot of these things we're showing you here are all about that. You know, focus on what you do want. So every time a negative comes up through your day, guys, it's a really powerful thing. Every time a negative comes up, stress, worry, whatever the fear is, counter it with the opposite. This is what our tool number 4 is. Focus on what you do want. So you focus on, fuck, I'm going to get, you know, fucking sick, right? It's like, so what do I want? The opposite of that. So focus on health. Picture myself as fully healthy. You know, if I'm going to get, you know, I'm going to lose my money, you know, picture yourself as wealthy. Just counter it and count all the, you know, wise men count their blessings, fools count their problems. So if you've got a negative coming in, you know, overweight, this and that, just go, okay, so what have I done good lately? And just count 5 things you've done really good, and 5 changes you've made, 5 positive things. And that will start countering the negative. And that process over a very short time will stop the negatives from coming in, and then they'll stop coming in your dreams. But the dreams, to work on them directly, you'd have to do a whole dream course. You have to learn how to lucid dream, which is, it's okay, but it's just not an easy thing to do. It's like, again, that's a practice. This way, stopping the negative through the daytime is going to have way better effect. Okay, so we're nearly at time up, I think. So
it's a bit long. Okay. Valerie, I won't read it out, but all I kind of got, it felt like you're lost, you don't know where to go. That wall of golden light for me felt like it's not time to move forward. And the guy that you saw in your dream, the guy that your flatmate brought, maybe there's something to do with him, with your path going forward. Maybe you had to wait for him to meet him, or something like that. And
pull your psychic abilities into heart, because psychic ability is where we can get attacked and we can get negative, and we can get a positive message, and the negative side can really twist it around. So anchor in the heart, and say, give me that message again in my heart. And if you lighten up in the heart, you know the message is true. It's really dangerous with psychic without a grounding in the heart, without an anchoring in the heart and the base, can get really dangerous, guys. It's not an easy thing to do.
Yeah.
But with the anchoring in the heart and with the grounding, it's fun.
And Spirit just told me to tell you, don't get fixated on that guy. Sorry if I gave you that impression that you need that guy. Yeah. It kind of feels like it was another sign of the gifts that you've got.
Yeah.
Right?
What do you see in him is in you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Both the negative and the positive. Whatever you're seeing in that guy, negative and positive, say, where is that in me? Yeah. Where are those attributes? Where are those things in me? And you know, this is where you can't see it if it's not in you. So say something, if you see something really positive and you go, you can notice it, then it's in you, but it might be just a seed and it might be fully grown in the other person. Yeah. So it's like, it doesn't mean it's in you at the same level, but it's in you as a possibility. All right, guys. Thanks a lot. So Thursday night meditation. We've got all our videos on YouTube now. So if you want to go and watch any of the old ones, all the meditations, all these lives, there's shitloads on there.
There's lots of content for you guys to go and watch.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, guys.
See you next week.
Thanks for all the newbies. Bye.
Thanks.